What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 40 of Feel the Heat. I could not believe that that's the episode we were on when I was making the rundown. Like, where has time gone? Do you feel like you've spent 40 episodes with me, Mr. Michael?
Not really, but I mean, it's kind of crazy. We've done as many episodes of Feel the Heat as
I,
years you've lived on this planet.
I literally knew the
So
second you started that sentence, I knew where you were going
I
with
listen,
this.
big congrats to you turning the big 4-0. I'm
First of
sure
all,
you
anyone
got
who knows I'm a Leo, which
AARP
means
around the
my birthday
corner.
is not anytime now. It's cap season. Thank you.
I would genuinely be surprised in our listener base if you broke them down by percentage. I would be surprised if more than 30% of our listener base actually knew when are born.
Yeah, but it's like a quick search. If they're like, wait a second,
No,
she's a
sure.
Leo,
It's a quick search, but
but just like off the top of their heads.
yeah,
Yeah, no, probably not.
I might even shoot it down like 15%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
more
again,
fair.
congrats, 40. It's a milestone. Good for you.
I was actually over Christmas, I accidentally thought that I was a year younger than I really am. And one of my parents was like, Alana, you know your insert age. And I'm like, what? And then I literally pulled out my calculator and I was like, oh, you're right. So COVID just like made me lose a year in my mind, apparently.
Mm-hmm. COVID. Yeah, let's blame COVID for
It's the last year. It's
let's
the
blame
asterisk
COVID for why you were
season.
born in 1982. You got it.
Okay, I was not born in 1982 for anyone watching and or listening. I don't even know how to transition out of this. Would you like to go ahead?
Let's see if I can give it my best shot. 40. That is the amount of points that Tyler Hero almost scored the other night against the Suns
That
in what
wasn't bad.
was an incredibly impressive performance
Mm-hmm.
against one of the better teams in the NBA, period, not just the Western Conference, NBA in as a whole, right? Missing Jimmy Butler, missing Bam Adebayo, Markeith is still out.
Now with
And
COVID.
now he's out with COVID. And the Suns were healthy. The Suns
Mm-hmm.
were pretty complete. I mean, Elfrid Payton is out. I don't even know if he was out because of coach's decision. So, I mean, who are these Heat? Because honestly, now my worry is that when everybody does come back, they're going to fall short of this kind of stuff.
Oh, I already called that last week. There is going to be so many issues when the team gets healthy, and it's not going to be permanent. It's going to be just a temporary rocky road because of, people having to reacclimate with one another, find their roles. When Depot comes back, it's going to be him actually having a role on the team.
The
But
best
yeah, it's
role.
not going to look pretty at all when we're healthy, at least at first.
So here's the question that I want to ask. So since we've last recorded, the Heat played 3 games. They
Mm-hmm.
lost to the Warriors. Hard to really blame them for a road game all the way out there where they lost by 7 points, which is honestly really manageable for, again, another one of the top teams in the NBA. And for a lot of people, the top team in the NBA. Granted, they still didn't have Klay Thompson back at the time, but when they do, they will be much scarier than they already are. But yeah, they lose to the Warriors 115-108. They beat Portland 115-109. And then they beat the Suns 123-100. All of these are road games too, mind you, which is incredibly difficult to do. West Coast trips are no laughing matter, especially for the team that is the furthest southeast team in the entire NBA. If you had to give most credit to anybody, who is it? Do you give more credit to Eric Spoelstra for the way he's been coaching, to these young guys that have been really stepping up in big ways, or to management for finding these guys who have found a way to come in, contribute big time? And that counts for all of them, right? That counts for Martin, Yurt, Strus. Who do you give them? Like, what is your order, right? Most credit to least credit, in your opinion?
I'm going to go Spo, guys, and then management,
Okay.
which I understand that I have been critical of Spo, but I'm also someone who gives props when deserved. What Spo has been able to do, not only this past week, but for the last few weeks, is incredible.
Yep.
I know that we are not the only team that is facing a decimated roster, that has a decimated roster and is facing COVID issues and injuries, but it's been like, I can't think of a day when there hasn't been some news.
Right.
either someone's coming back or someone's going out or someone's questionable. And not only in terms of the actual plug and chug of players and figuring out lineups and rotations, but mentally, like if we are getting kind of whiplash as fans, can you imagine what Spo is going through every day with a changing roster? So I mean, my hat is off to him. He has killed it. I think I said this last week. Maybe he just needed a little bit of a challenge to get going. I don't know what it is. He's thriving in this environment. Obviously, I also think the guys definitely deserve a lot of recognition for their hard work, but also for staying ready. You know, basketball is in their genes and playing the game is just kind of second nature, but to stay well conditioned, to kind of read up on both the offense and the defense, to know, you know, who you're going to face off against, it's a skill. And I think that they have done a wonderful job. And then, yeah, lastly, obviously finding diamonds in the rough has been something that the Heat have done basically since the start of the organization. I don't think that is going to ever change. And maybe that part doesn't surprise me as much. So that's why I'm putting them last, just because I kind of expect it at this point. But yeah, Spo and the players, I mean, I don't think anyone expected us to be in this position.
Yeah. My list on those three, I think I go Spo, management, guys. I think the guys are playing really well. Honestly, I do. Right. You still have to go out there and hit your shots, right? Like Max Strus doesn't become what we know as Max Strus without him going out there and capitalizing and making all these things happen. Spoelstra, you've already hit the nail on the head. I mean, the guy is coaching really well. He's putting good lineups out there. He's creating problems for these top teams with guys that honestly wouldn't have been playing NBA minutes had it not been for all of the craziness that was going around. The reason why I put management above the guys, though, is just because it's one thing to find guys that can contribute and play well in the system that are kind of off the waivers, off of, you know, just like out of nowhere. And it's another thing to have done it almost, in my opinion, almost perfectly this year specifically. Caleb Martin, who was a player that was picked up very late in the offseason, is now such an important player that when he isn't available, we all start thinking, how are we going to fill Caleb Martin minutes? Max Strus, another guy that the Heat have found a way to bring in and maximize his talents. Omer Yurtseven, yeah, he played well in Summer League, but as we all know, playing well in Summer League doesn't always translate to the NBA. It's not an easy one for one, especially for bigs. We're going to have a harder time with things like that. He's found a way to improve drastically. And yeah, a lot of that is him and a lot of that is the coaching. But they found Omer. They found a way to kind of dig him up out of nothing. And then you have Kyle Guy, who now gets a second 10-day contract. Not to mention, listen, for as much crap as we give Duncan Robinson at times, he's still playing well. He still has a place on this team. And let's not forget, Duncan Robinson was undrafted. Tyler Hero is someone that people thought would have been a wild pick at, 14? And they found a way to make that work. The confidence that they have in picking these guys and the security that I feel when they do pick them up, it's absolutely wild. Because honestly, Kyle Lowry got picked up this past offseason. Huge addition, very important parts of the team. And yet on that list, to me, although he's so important, it's not one of the coolest things that I would tout to other people. What I would talk to other fans about, right, other NBA team fans, is we found Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson and Max Strus and Gabe Vincent and Kyle Guy. You all had a chance. And even if you did, it probably would have sucked there. But look at what they're doing here. So to the management, listen, hats off to them. Pat Riley and all those guys, they know what they're doing, you know? And if this team is healthy, you've said it, I've said it, it's no guarantee. I think it is going to be bumpy when they all get back together. When they lock it down, I can't see a team in the Eastern Conference that I would see handling the Heat in 6 games or less. Honestly,
my problem is that I don't want to jinx anything, but I don't see us staying healthy. I just don't think it's a reasonable thing to assume. And it's not just COVID, but I have said it once and I'll say it again. Jimmy's injury prone. And that doesn't mean that I would want him off the team. It doesn't mean that I don't still think that with Jimmy, we can do a lot more than a lot of other teams without him. It's just fact of the matter at this point, at least in my mind. So I don't think this team will ever be fully healthy.
I think this team will find a way to be healthy when it matters. And I think if they are missing anyone, it won't be one of those top most important guys. I think Kyle, Jimmy, and Bam will be healthy throughout the playoffs. That is my genuine belief, because I think they will find a way to play in a manner that doesn't get them injured. And also, even if they do, they're just going to play through it. And yeah, it sucks,
for me, I don't think, for me, it doesn't matter if it's those guys or any other guys. I will keep saying this. If not everything is clicking, nothing will click. That's how I see this team.
And that is something that I would have agreed with before all of this that's been happening with the Heat the past.
But it's happening now.
4 weeks.
All of the guys are clicking. It's not the guys you thought would be, and it's the guys that have no other choice, but it's all working. So it's all working. Right, it's not one guy carrying it. It's not one guy being inconsistent night in and night out. Strus is consistent. Caleb's consistent. Yurt is consistent. Like, everything is working at the same time. Now, I'm not saying everyone is going to have the same level of play every night, but if you look at it from like a bigger picture, so for me, I don't really, I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Logically, you're going to want your big three, if you want to call them that, to be the ones healthy. But if they're all healthy and then you don't have someone like Caleb Martin or PJ or Tyler, like if that's going to start being a problem, to me, that's just not, it doesn't matter if those three are healthy. It's going to knock everything off course.
I just think having all that talent back makes up for whatever deficit you might have if everything isn't clicking. And I would even argue that I wouldn't even say that they're winning games because everything is clicking. They're winning games because they're playing really well. And it's not like, oh,
but it's a team.
They just can't miss.
The team playing well.
Sure.
It's not one guy carrying. It's not like.
Right. And when the guys that can carry by themselves in Bam and Jimmy come back and are fully healthy,
I don't think this team
don't need everybody else to click.
I don't think this team works that way. I don't think it's 1-2 guys carrying. I understand why
they've won multiple games this season in which Jimmy is the guy and all it takes is one or two more and they win and it's fine.
I don't think that's going to work in the playoffs.
I don't see why not. And I also don't see why, with the depth that they've so righteously gained or realized they have in the past couple weeks, they can't find a way to have it all clicking. Because
if it all clicks, then great. But I'm saying
but maybe Tyler's not clicking next night, or maybe Duncan's not clicking for that night, or Max Strus isn't clicking for that night. You can bet that at least one of them is going to be having a decent game, and you can interchange them if you want to.
I don't see this team being like that.
So you're capping this team then, right? Like you're saying, it's not all going to click. What, second round exit maybe?
To me, it depends on health more than anything. And I just don't, unfortunately,
give me the team healthy. We just, in my opinion, I think we can only assume health, because assuming injury is then who is injured? How long are they injured? Are they playing through it? Who are we playing against? Right? Just assume healthy, because I think that's just the fairest way to do it. Are you still, if you assume healthy,
then no. I just don't think we're going to stay healthy. That's the basis to my entire argument. But
you're saying here, even if they're healthy,
they
still need everything to click. And since everything's not clicking.
No, because what you were saying is like you believe that those three at least will find a way to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Like, so it doesn't matter if the rest of the team is intact or not, or what's going on.
I think a lot of those guys are interchangeable enough. And I will give you that there are guys that are more important. I don't think PJ Tucker is very easily replaceable on this team. Nope. I don't. What he brings defensively, I think needs to be there. PJ Tucker, I don't think is going to be playing like all the minutes, especially in the playoffs, when you're going to have a guy like Victor Oladipo back again, assuming health, to be able to help out some on the defensive end. But I can't sit here and say, well, the season's not going to go anywhere because of injury. Because if we're just going to assume injury all the time, then there's no point in even worrying about what this team is going to do, because this is a fun ride for now. Somebody's going to get hurt and it's all going to fall apart.
I don't know. I'm just not someone who looks ahead. Like I'm happy with what they're doing now and I am excited to see how things will progress, but I would be lying if I sat here and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait till we're healthy, we're going to kill it. Just not how I
Sure.
feel.
I just think that this stretch without some of these important guys has built up enough confidence in me that we are and going to be winning games during the regular season, even when these guys are out, because we've shown that we can do it and we're doing it consistently. And I think that alone is going to put us in a completely different situation than we were in last year, where last year during the injuries, we had no shot of winning. Even when they came back, winning felt very difficult. So by the time you did make it into the playoffs, it was limping in after having left it all out there and having literally the worst matchup we could possibly have because it was the team that ended up winning the championship. I think this whole boost, this whole situation, the fact that we're winning these games now and we're not going to have to hit, pedal to the metal all the way through to the playoffs, I think that is going to help out big time. I think that's going to help them stay healthy. And I think the depth that they now have is what's going to propel them much further than last year. And in my opinion, to the point where I'm expecting Eastern Conference Finals.
See, I actually see it differently. I think that these guys we're so decimated that the guys who are now having to play many more minutes than they ever played before are going to be completely burnt out. They're just going to be cashed. So I hope I'm wrong. It's just right now, I'm really proud of this team right now, but I'm also not going to be, it's not going to be a disappointment to me if we're not at the Eastern Conference Finals.
And I think that's just 100%. That's where you and I differ. I think to me, we always know you and I are very different on the importance of regular season. To me, regular season success is nice. It's pretty, it's cute, it's cool, it's whatever. But all that matters to me is making noise in the playoffs, is being relevant. Because that is what this organization has done to me. So I agree with you. I'm proud of what they're doing right now. Genuinely proud, top to bottom, right? We talked about management, Spo, and the players. We ranked them. We're still hella proud of all of them, and they all deserve it. And I'm happy to see them being successful right now. But if we get to the playoffs and this team gets bounced earlier than I expect them to, or they look bad, especially in that series where they get bounced, I'm not going to care about how happy I was when they were 25-15, 40 games into the season, winning games with a bunch of 10-day contract guys. It does matter to me. You fell short when it mattered, and that's just how it is. And I get it. You still need to give them props. You still need to be happy about it. But if that's the way it ends up, yeah, I'm not going to care. I'm never going to look back and be like, oh, but you remember when we were so good?
Yeah, but your whole thing is contingent on health.
I mean, every NBA team is. If the Bucks lose Giannis, they're going to be in trouble. Or if they lose Chris Middleton, yeah, it's not as bad as if they lose Giannis, but they're going to be in trouble. If the Warriors lose Steph, they're in trouble. If the Nets lose Kevin Durant, good Lord, it's all up to Harden.
Yeah, but you're very confident that we're going to stay healthy.
I am confident, but I'm also just why am I going to sit here and assume otherwise? I get it that they have histories. I get that they have histories, but Jimmy, in his time he's been in Miami, has not missed significant playoff time, if any. Has he missed any playoff time?
Okay, I love Jimmy. He was non-existent in the last playoff
100%.
round.
So was the entire team, though. So
sure, but if you're sitting here saying that it's Jimmy and Kyle and Bam who matter most, then
yeah, this team in the playoffs will live and die by those three. They will not live and die by the performances of Tyler Hero, Duncan
Jimmy
Robinson,
was
PJ Tucker, or Max.
So
Strus.
if that happens again, then
then we have no shot. In which case, we put all of our eggs in the wrong basket. So you have to wait till we get there. So then, that's
what I'm doing. I'm waiting. I think that's the difference. You already see far ahead. You have these goals for them.
Right. But this is also just how I live my life. And you know this. Everything I do, every decision I make has to come through with okay, how is this going to affect things? What is the outcome of them? I play the outcomes out. I see if what I'm doing is worth it. And then if not, I just back off and don't do whatever it is.
But none of this is in your control.
No, it's definitely not. Not of this, specifically with the Heat.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. So what is there to look ahead?
I mean, you play the regular season to get a good seed for the playoffs and to win a championship. That's all that matters
But it's one game at a time.
for the bigger picture. I get
No,
it. I
like
agree
in
with you. This is
general.
early. We're not even at the halfway point of the season yet, technically, for the Heat, right? Halfway point of the season is 41 games. We're a game
Mm-hmm.
off from halfway in. We're not recording after the 41st game. So this is our midseason report. And I'm going to make that the name of the episode. Here we go.
Look at
I
you.
just think that what I'm seeing makes me confident enough, especially the records against the top teams. I think, what are they against the certain top teams? What are they, like 8-3, something like that? It was like 8-3 or 9-3. One of those two.
I think 8. Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm like, this team is legit to me. They look for real. They have the depth. The system works. Spo is coaching better than he has the last few years, in my opinion. I don't see why I can't look forward and enjoy things. Yeah, we get there, right? We got to the first round of the playoffs. Jimmy takes a bad fall and hurts his butt. I mean, tailbone again. Listen, F me. It's over. It's all done. It is really, we can probably win a couple games from there, but we're not going to win anything too significant. I get it. But I'm not going to sit here and think, you know what? I don't want to get excited about the playoffs because Jimmy's going to get hurt or Bam's going to get hurt or Kyle's.
But I'm not saying I'm not excited. I'm literally saying I am taking it one game at a time. So
nah, screw that. I think ahead. I always think ahead, especially because I'm waiting for Victor Oladipo to come back. Can't take that one game at a time until he even comes back. So I just, everything is future.
Control the controllable.
NFTs. What else are we talking about? TikTok is the way of the future, right? Let's get all this new blood pumping. Gen Z, baby, here we go. Is it Gen Z? I think it's Gen Z, right? Is that the next one? Is that the one? That's the one after me. You're the previous generation for me. You're
TikTok's
boomer?
not really the way of the future, considering it's been a thing, a pretty hot thing for what,
honestly,
the
I
last 2
wouldn't be
years.
surprised if it dies in like 2 years.
I wonder what's next.
Meta.
Just stop. Like just stop. Predictions for this week, because we are playing the Hawks back to back. And then the delightful 76ers.
Oh, so we're playing the lollipop?
I like Trae Young.
I love that lollipop picture. That's hilarious.
Okay, I was saying this the other night. It looks like he did something to his hair. It looks a lot fuller, and I'm not going to try and call the man out.
Did he pull a Carlos Boozer?
No, it's not painted on. It's just he might have put product in it. It was looking different the other night. But listen, good for him if he wants to rectify that situation. I've never understood why this man is walking around with his hair looking like that, considering the billions of dollars he makes.
And he's 23 years old. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, right? I have a full head of hair. That doesn't mean that the line that my hair starts at is necessarily in the best of places. I am happy to see my hair is healthier than Trae Young's. So that feels good.
It's just thinning. Like, I'm not really sure what's up. He could braid it. Like, he could do a lot with it, but
it happens to people, right? Like I had friends in college that, they were like 19 and it was already like really thin right back here.
Probably a guy thing. I don't really know. Like,
right? I'm sure there are girls that have their hair thin out too. That, to me, that one's more sad, right? A guy loses hair, just shave your head, man. Get over it. Just shave your head, move on.
Yeah, but not everyone looks good with a shaved head.
You don't really have a choice when you're losing your hair.
I'm telling you, I know Ricky's gonna come after me now saying about the braids, but like low key, I feel like that's actually the solution, right? Because then it's like you can't really tell it's thinning, but you don't have to get rid of the hair. Like, why aren't you braided up?
So then can I call Trae Young the wig now?
No, just leave him alone. No, I don't. I think you put product.
I can call him the lollipop or the wig. You have to pick one or two.
I know.
I'm just not a fan of him. I
like him. I also really like his shoes.
Listen, I think some of my favorite. I want somebody to put a montage of Trae Young getting blocked together. That would just be hilarious to me. I don't know. I just don't like him. Like it's not even like a rivalry thing. I don't like his play style. Right? He plays too much. Like, look at me. I'm Steph Curry 2.0, and it's like,
yeah, I love that. I love a little flash.
Slow your roll, guy. You're not even close. Like,
he's pretty fucking good though.
First of all, language. My gosh.
Now are we still PG?
All this explicit stuff on everything. God, we lost YouTube monetization. This is terrible. Look, I don't like him. He plays a very selfish style of basketball, in my opinion. It's a very everything is centered around me. We're gonna center it through me, and I'm gonna yell at you when you're in the wrong spot, even though I threw the turnover, but I'm still gonna yell at you anyways. Hate it.
An alpha.
Hate it.
That's
you
what
have
that
problems.
is.
Look, I don't like
anymore.
I don't like him. I think we play the Hawks back to back. And I think we'll probably split it, honestly.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, we're not fully healthy. The Hawks win games. They find a way to win games. Their offense can be explosive and their offense can disappear at times.
They're very, very streaky.
They're very streaky. That is the way they play, and good for them, right? You have a play style and you're gonna stick with it. You're gonna live and die by the wig lollipop. And so I think we'll probably end up splitting with them because I think at some point he'll pop off the way he does. But if you ask me my favorite Trae Young moment of all time, it was him yelling at the fans saying it's over, and then Jimmy Butler and the Heat scoring them.
Yeah, of course.
0 points in overtime, because Trae, you suck. He doesn't actually suck. He's a fantastic NBA player. I just don't like him.
That is fine. I'm sure I have players I don't like either. Like Steph Curry. I can admire his talent. Don't like the guy.
What?
This is not news to you. Come on. This is a very well-known thing.
I should throw you in a pool for that statement.
He's so squeaky clean. He's so boring. He literally does not have an ounce of grit to him. He's the most vanilla.
So you'd prefer a player with like murder charges?
Okay, why does grit have to equal homicide?
Okay, sorry. You want a player that just goes around punching people at clubs when they get drunk?
That's fine.
I really should throw you in a pool. The deep end too. 12 feet. You would never make it.
He's this family man.
If I just
works really hard and has this beautiful wife and these great kids. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, what is interesting about you?
Yeah, boo you, Stephen Curry, for trying to live your life the right way and do the right things and be one of the best, if not the best 3-point shooter of all time in NBA history.
But see, hold up. I said he's very talented. I actually like the way I like watching him play, but him as a person, so dull. There is just nothing for me to connect to there.
I love Stephen Curry.
Okay.
But then again, there's no better ice cream than like chocolate is number one, but soft serve, you get like swirl, vanilla chocolate swirl. Oh, so good.
Will we win against Philly?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm taking that too. So we'll go 2-1 this week.
And I'm pretty sure Jimmy's coming back fairly soon, isn't he?
I think so. I think he's still questionable.
Back for the Atlanta games?
Yeah. No, I think he's questionable for, well, we don't know what'll happen, but
the video that came out of Portland had him walking around on the bus and it didn't look that bad.
I think they're probably just being a little cautious.
Right. The injury was thought to be something more serious. It looks like he just kind of rolled up on his ankle a little funny. Ankle injuries are nagging. They last, but I think he should be able to come back sooner rather than later. And it's the Sixers, man. Come on.
I know.
The process? Nah. Process these nuts. Okay. So culture player of the week. I will let you go first.
Mine is Kyle Lowry, because that ejection was a thing of beauty.
Barely an ejection.
I'm sorry. I do not understand how anyone can dislike or have a gripe with the fact that he argues every call. It is him to the core. It's my favorite thing ever. I mean, I'm ride or die.
Sometimes it's just like, shut up, Kyle. Like, I'm
for what? Why should he?
Shut up.
Why should he?
Like when it's obvious and you definitely fouled them. Like maybe just kind of
Why?
Because you fouled them. What are you arguing?
No, you argue everything. What?
You're so frustrating.
He's an Aries, first off, so duh.
That means nothing.
No, literally, he's the definition of arguing every call. His entire attitude. I'm ride or die for Kyle Lowry. So culture player of the week.
Listen, time out. I love Kyle Lowry too. I just think, listen, just sometimes it can be a bit much. Just kind of take it on the chin, move on.
It's not enough.
If they make a bad call,
it's not enough.
I love it. Right? More. They make a bad call, do it. But
Give me more, Kyle.
You slap a guy on his forearm when he's going
punch
for
him
a
in
shot,
the face and then say it wasn't a foul.
You make me sad.
I like people that stay on brand. I don't like wishy-washy. He's very on brand. So kudos to him.
Stephen Curry stays on brand.
Yes.
You just don't like his brand.
No, I don't find him interesting.
And you've taken that as you dislike him.
Nope. I don't dislike him. I personally cannot connect to anything there, so I don't have anything for him. Like I feel nothing for Steph Curry.
Whatever. Okay. Whatever. You're
Who
weird.
is yours?
It is also Kyle.
Oh.
Kyle Guy. Yeah,
Oh.
boy. Only because he went and he got his second 10-day contract recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's that great, honestly. I think once other players come back, he will have little to literally 0 minutes of play, and he'll probably not even be on the team longer than this next 10-day contract. However, for a guy I was just kind of picked up off of the street, who nobody thought would really do much of anything, he has contributed. He has had nice flashes and good moments. And to Kyle Guy for being that like dream come true scenario of you have this one shot, you go out there and you take it. Good for you, bro.
And
way
what
to
bouncy
go.
curls he has.
Yeah. A sick head of hair. So Kyle Guy, culture play of the week. I love it. 10-day contract and you're actually contributing. Sucks to say that one of the other guys on a 10-day contract never even saw the floor. So
yeah, that was a little bit odd after all the hoopla. I'd like to
really
think
hoopla though, because I feel like we were the hoopla, as in like the Heat fandom on
okay,
Twitter.
you can't think that the organization didn't know what was going to come out of doing that. They could have found someone else. Like it's not Mario Chalmers. Was
sure,
not
but
the
I
last
felt like the
player
writing
on
was
Earth.
on the wall the moment they started giving 10-day contracts to who was it? Haywood Highsmith,
right?
or
But
some
he
crap
knew.
like that.
But that's what I'm saying. The organization knew what would come out of that. So to not even play him for like I don't know a minute of one game seems very odd to me.
Oh, for sure, get some buzz, but they got to win. So
it's fine. Still find it odd.
It is what it is. Transitions.
2 Kyles for the price of 1 this week, apparently. I was just going to kind of piggyback off what I started saying last week. Heat Twitter is a group unrecognizable to me because for the most part, everyone has been crazy positive about this team. And sure, there are some trickles of certain guys not doing great in one game here and there. Fine, whatever. That's normal. But I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, Heat Twitter is this unified front of just support and love and positivity.
What a shocking thing to have happened, considering that they've been winning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been around for 11 plus years now. It doesn't matter how the team is doing. Heat Twitter is never kumbaya.
No. Of course they're kumbaya. What are you gonna bicker about? Well, okay, you know what?
Are you serious?
What are we? The only thing that they bicker about is Duncan Robinson.
And Tyler Hero and Kyle's calls and literally a plethora of other reasons.
But they're winning.
So what? That's never stopped them before.
I like how you say them like you're not part of it.
I'm absolutely not.
Yes, you are.
You're right. I've been so active on Twitter, especially lately, huh, Michael?
To the outside, you are part of Heat Twitter. Outside of Heat Twitter, you are part of Heat Twitter. Outside of Heat Twitter, you are part of Heat Twitter. What do you mean you're not? What do you mean you're not?
That's fine. I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
Yo, for real though?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, total cap over here. Look, it's easy to be happy. They're winning. Right? Like we can bicker and argue about Kyle's ejection. We can argue about what Tyler had a rough night.
So you're saying that all the dumb arguments from last season and so far this season up until recently were valid just because we weren't doing well?
Yeah.
So this may be the last episode of Feel the Heat ever. I hope you guys have enjoyed our run. I don't know what to do with myself now.
It was a hell of a run.
It was. I had a good time.
What do you mean? When they're losing, you have to talk about what needs to change, what can be done better.
Nothing that was being talked about was valid. It was all
in your opinion.
No, period.
No. Come on.
You're singing quite a different tune than you used to.
What do you mean?
Would you like me to pull up old Clutch Corner episodes where you didn't really agree with a lot of the discussions happening?
Oh, I don't agree with all of them. I agree with you.
That's what I'm trying to say. They weren't valid. They were just negative to be negative.
You're putting a blanket statement over them saying that none of them are valid. You're acting like this is crazy that Heat Twitter is unified. What I'm saying is they are winning games that no one expects them to. If this team was fully healthy, they had everybody out there and they're losing some of these games, okay, people are going to bicker. People are going to talk about it. They're going to dissect it. They're winning games with a starting lineup that includes Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Omer Yurtseven, PJ Tucker, and Kyle Lowry. They just beat the Suns with that starting lineup. Who in their right mind is going to then jump on Twitter and be like, oh, but you know what? I was watching that game. Kyle Guy was 0 for 2 from the three-point line. I don't understand what we're doing with that.
That sounds exactly
like
what a lot of people were saying.
Right. It's like the crazy theorists who are all the way at the bottom of this whole thing. Like, come on.
Mr. Michael, open your eyes, sir.
I cannot. I think agreeing with you is probably the only thing I'm allergic to. And the next time I go to like a doctor or something, they're like, oh, any allergies? I'd be like, Alana Tahauer. Aside from
I
that,
would love for you to say that. Tell me what they say. Can you FaceTime me while that's happening? Just to
they'd
see
probably
the reaction?
be like, good call. That's bad for you.
Oh, they would know. Just
100%.
A random doctor in Florida would know
100%
right away, because you're not the only patient that has complained about that.
I'm the most important patient that they have. So, it's the only thing. The surprise at the Kumbaya, like, of course, 25-15 win a record with a team that everybody said if they go 500 with Bam being out, if they go 500 over the stretch of Bam being out, we'll all sing their praises, and they are well above that.
The thing you're missing is that, yes, this is how they should be acting. I'm just shocked because of how ridiculous they usually act.
Right. You just have no faith.
Absolutely not.
And I do.
I'm so glad that you live your life in a disillusioned state.
Okay. And you're the one, move us on.
You're getting mad.
No. I'm not though. Like, I have things that I want to say, but I won't
go
say
ahead.
Them, and I'll let us.
I'm so unbothered that nothing.
I'll move us on to the next thing.
Go ahead.
I can do it. So PJ Tucker,
my boy,
he's not very good at basketball.
You're gonna really be believed on all your takes moving forward now.
I'm only saying that because I know it bothers you.
PJ I'm Tucker, unbothered.
Obviously, you reacted. He's been playing well. We said it. I genuinely think that PJ Tucker is, I don't know, at worst. It's tough. I don't know if he's the fourth most important player on the team because of Tyler. Right.
I think he is, but only because of his leadership. On top of that does not take away Tyler's importance on the team. But for me, Tyler's too young, and he also just hasn't been around. I mean, Tucker literally came off a championship. I also think that, and it's something that I don't think I was consciously picking up on until other people started saying it. But the way that PJ brings confidence to guys like KZ, both on and off the court. And listen, KZ could still use a lot of work. But with that said, him and Yurt, I think that the intangibles almost that PJ brings to the team are maybe not more important, but they're as important as what he does on the court. So yeah, I would definitely put him as the fourth most important.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I think what really helps him there is, the leadership, but also the defensive side of things.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Like, I mean, he's just so crucial to that. On the same side, you could argue that Tyler is so crucial to the offense, especially what he's been doing coming off the bench. Because
to me, it's just more off the court stuff that, from no fault of his own, but Tyler just
because you can
that.
say PJ's importance on defense is probably just as much as Tyler's importance on offense, and so it's that off the court stuff that really puts him on top for you. And I see it. And I do agree with it too. I think what PJ does is fantastic. I haven't seen any of his fits lately because I don't even know where those come from, and you haven't sent any of them to me. But I'm sure he's still doing some wild stuff that doesn't even
absolutely
look
the
good.
best.
Like, he's probably wearing like some croc skin shoes with
I don't know if I've ever seen another player dress as well as PJ, to be honest.
2003 Dwayne Wade, right? With those giant oversized suits.
I mean, that was a trend back then. Melo did it too, but PJ's style is just one of one. I love.
What a wild time it was in the NBA back then. What else do we have? We can talk about playoff matchups, but I feel like we spent so much time talking about playoffs already that it's like
we did. I also don't know how long this episode is already.
Yeah. So
So
we'll start cutting it short. So the last thing, let's do the one last thing. The last little note you
Mhm.
have on a rundown. You have SOS LeBron. Why is that?
I am just curious as to what you think would help this team, if anything.
Probably a GM not named LeBron James.
Sure, but like realistically, right now.
Realistically, right now,
Mhm.
I think they're effed.
Do you think that's it?
Yeah, I don't think this team's gonna win anything that matters.
I
Genuinely.
think the same thing is going to happen when there was that huge overhaul with Cleveland at the trade deadline. I don't think
Yeah,
they're necessarily
but
going
they
to.
got a bunch of really weird bad players too. What they got they got a bunch of people that was like, come on, you're reaching for straws here.
I actually don't think, like, how do I put this? The pieces are movable. They're not packageable because the pieces would all need to go to different places to like fill a weird void of another team. It's that to me, it's that together this group just isn't working. It's not necessarily that like individually their problems. I Russ is an interesting thing for me because,
he sucks.
See, I really like him.
Don't get me wrong. He has a place on a basketball team, and I think he could be successful. But you have to so actively build around anything else on the team that isn't Russell Westbrook.
The thing is, they had to have known that when they got him. And I don't fault Russ in that. Russ is Russ. He's not some rookie who's going to change his game.
You know what you're getting with him.
You know what you're getting. You also, I find it very hard to believe, not that this is reported anywhere, but that they went in with any other expectation laid out for him. I don't think they came in and went to him and said, this is going to be your role or you're going to have to change this. I think they were just like, we love you. Let's go. If you're not going to let him be him, then I'm not really sure what you expect.
Right. Russ is so erratic in his play. Like it's so all over the place, both with turnovers and points. He can have a game where he has a triple double and like 8 turnovers, and he can have a game where he has like 3 turnovers, but he only scores like 9 points, right? Like it's really all over the place. One thing that you can say about the Lakers, LeBron James, consistent as hell. What he is doing at his age is
phenomenal.
Truly, truly phenomenal. He deserves any praise for individual play that you can give him. I mean, for the entire month of December, he averaged 30.7 points per game. 30.7 points per game at 37
Honestly,
years old.
It's early, but like if this keeps up, just give him MVP now.
Man, and you see, that's where I'm like, and I've seen it before. The MVP argument to me, it's like, I kind of want it to be a team that's more successful, personally.
Oh, see, I think that's BS. I don't see what it matters because you're the most valuable player on a team, not the team is doing well and you're also doing well.
I get that argument. Honestly, I do. Right? Like if there's a team that comes in as a 5th seed, and it's really because just this one player carried them all the way there. If that one player is not on the team, you're going to bump them all the way down to maybe 10th seed at best, right? And I understand that. But honestly, you could probably say that about LeBron on every team he's ever been on, aside from the Heat teams. I
think the difference though is it's like the way that he's performing at his age, and it's not, I mean, right. I don't feel like he's slowed down.
I don't think his age should factor into it personally.
Oh, I definitely do.
Not for the MVP award. Because the MVP award isn't like, he's doing really well and he's 37. Like, it's like that. To me, that shouldn't, because if that's the case, then that should also boost up anybody that's doing anything at like 21, 22, 23, because they're so young that you have to kind of prop them up a little bit. And I just don't think that the age should factor into it.
No, to me, it's like younger guys should be able to do everything.
Yeah, I just don't think that the age should factor into it. But yeah. Well, I mean,
no, I just to me, like right here, right now, and again, it's really early, and I don't like making these predictions generally, but I think he at least deserves to be in like the top 2-3 conversation.
No, I absolutely agreed, and I think he will end the year in that position. I just think, like I said, this team, I don't think is going to make much noise because it doesn't seem to click even when they are all out there, right? Like you can knock on them for the injury stuff.
No,
right?
I don't even think it's that at all.
But
They're not working.
But you could, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has a hard time staying healthy. Russell Westbrook has a hard time staying healthy. LeBron James is a freaking beast. He's still 37 years old. One bad roll of the ankle, one back spasm, right? You're kind of having a problem there. I just think even when they do all play together, it just doesn't like none of the pieces seems to fit.
No, something's off.
It doesn't feel like that team. If I put them in a 7-game series right now against, I don't know, the Suns or the Warriors, I mean, there's no way I'm picking the Lakers.
Absolutely not.
I think if you put them in a 7-game series with the Grizzlies, I think they go to 7 at least.
Yeah.
If they win, because the Grizzlies have their number. Like, I don't know.
No, as constructed right now, I completely agree. I think there's going to be hella moves made, and I think it's going to be a circus, and I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, it is going to be a circus. It is going to be wild. I just want to remind everybody that someone in the preseason here on this show said that the Lakers were going to be fantastic and that they were going to win it all. And someone else on this show mentioned that, the 2012 NBA All-Star team is a little bit past their prime. They're not going to click. It's not going to work out. And I'm
sorry. Did you think I was going to be embarrassed by my take?
No, I'm not. No. You're not embarrassed by your take. I am right. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay, sure.
There's very few of these moments because you're one of those people that just keeps arguing even after you've been proven wrong, because you're like, as long as I keep yelling, I'm right. But you were wrong about that one because you said it empirically that the Lakers were going to win the championship.
It's more that once I've stated my opinion, I actually just completely check out of the conversation. Like I don't hear a thing anyone says after I've said my piece. I'm just like, I don't care. So,
and this bickering right here is, I'm sure, going to really light the YouTube comments on fire, because I know they love when we do this kind of stuff. So why
does this tickle their fancy?
I don't know. They have a really good time just like complaining about like, oh, these two with their bickering. Well,
thanks for listening anyway, guys.
Yeah, maybe if Alana was more amenable, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Excited to see what this week brings, I guess. Go Heat, and good night, y'all.